I have to admit something I never thought I'd say, especially recently. Good for Tim Hortons. Hurt to say that. Not because of a new coffee, not because they finally figured out how to make a decent breakfast sandwich again, and certainly not because they've earned back the loyalty of millions of Canadians they've spent years alienating by unemploying their children in favor of cheap foreign labor. No, this time they deserve credit because they refused to cave to the outrage mob. Now, I'm very suspicious of the motives here. I'll explain why in a minute, but first, the donut controversy. Tim Hortons is launching a Harry Potter promotion to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the first film. It's exactly the kind of harmless, nostalgic marketing campaign that any normal company would dream up. Collectible merchandise, special menu items, a chance to win a trip to London. Sounds fun, right? Kind of cute. Apparently not if you're a professional gender activist online. Now, within hours, and I'm not exaggerating here, hours, the online outrage machine was in full swing. Calls to boycott Tim Hortons, social media branding the company Turf Hortons, gender activists insisting that selling Harry Potter merchandise somehow amounts to endorsing anti-trans hate. Because, of course, everything has to be left-wing political. Taxpayer-funded advocacy group Egal Canada even weighed in, scolding Tim Hortons for partnering with a franchise created by J.K. Rowling. According to them, Canada's self-appointed coffee chain isn't sufficiently reflecting the country's commitment to diversity and inclusion. Now, I'll give you the translation for the normal people in the crowd. You must submit to the approved ideology of the mob or face public shaming. Sorry, you crybabies, but some things are just about fun books and donuts. Then came the predictable parade of complainants. CBC highlighted employees who said they felt hurt by the promotion. I'm shocked CBC could find a Canadian employee, so I guess here's another thing I didn't think I would say today, but also good for CBC. Trudeau appointed Senator Chris Wells demanded Tim Hortons allow him to make Pride Timbits instead, calling the Harry Potter campaign, quote, tone deaf. Imagine sitting in the Senate and being offended by a fictional wizard in a book. Now, here's the thing. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling has never said transgender people shouldn't have rights. She's consistently argued something much simpler and frankly saner. Biological sex exists, women deserve sex-based protections, and people shouldn't lose their jobs or reputations for saying so. Now, you may agree with her or you may disagree with her. That's your right. But pretending Harry Potter is now forbidden literature because its author refuses to embrace gender ideology is peak Canadian absurdity. Millions of Canadians grew up with these books. They just like Harry Potter. And for once, Tim Hortons seems to understand that. The company politely thanked everyone for their opinions and essentially said, "We're celebrating one of the world's most beloved franchises." End of story. Now, that's exactly how corporations should respond. Not with another groveling apology, not with another diversity consultant there to shame everybody for their privilege, not by firing up the corporate confession self-flagellation machine every time a few hundred people on X get angry. Just say, no thanks, and settle down, you online hysterics. It's refreshing to see for once, but here's the but. Here's where my applause ends, because let's not pretend Tim Hortons suddenly became the good guys. This company spent years becoming the poster child for Canada's temporary foreign worker program, while Canadian teenagers struggled to find summer jobs at record numbers. While young adults sent out resume after resume, Tim Hortons locations across the country were relying on temporary foreign workers instead. And that's not a made-up controversy. It's real. Conservatives aren't imagining it. Many Canadians felt betrayed watching the country's most iconic coffee chain prioritize access to foreign labor and then lobbying for changes to temporary foreign work requirements while local workers were looking for opportunities. That did real damage to Tim Hortons' reputation. Deserved damage. Which makes me wonder if this little culture war fight isn't a little too convenient. Maybe someone in the marketing department realized they needed a win with conservative Canadians. Maybe the marketing department at Tim Hortons figured standing up to the woke mob for once would rebuild some goodwill. If that's what they're doing, it could probably work on some people. And to those people, I say, you know what? Fair enough. I can't believe I'm saying this, and I'm saying it begrudgingly, but I genuinely applaud Tim Hortons for refusing to surrender to ideological cry-bullying. Corporate Canada desperately needs more backbone. We spent years watching companies race to apologize for imaginary offenses and then pay a shakedown to activist groups as an indulgence for their gender sins. Maybe this is the beginning of that ending. I sure hope so. But as for me, one decision doesn't erase years of bad ones. Standing up to the gender activists doesn't undo the damage done through the abuse of the temporary foreign worker program. You don't rebuild that trust overnight. So yes, again, begrudgingly, good on Tim Hortons for telling the gender tone police to take a hike. Good on Tim Hortons for refusing to let taxpayer-funded activists dictate what's acceptable to enjoy. But if Tim Hortons is hoping this Harry Potter promotion is enough to bring conservatives flooding back through the drive-thru, well, they're going to need a little more than magic. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the gender activists are coming for Canadian donuts. But that's not the only place that they're waging war on sane society. They're doing it in the classroom. If you want to fight back against this, please sign our petition at stopclassroomgrooming.com.